Holy. We have a couple here who's making $400,000 plus per year. And you are saying it feels like we are living paycheck to paycheck.
We're not organized in how we manage it. It feels like, nope, it's here. Might as well spend it.
$2.18 million net worth. What do you think about those numbers?
To me, net worth is just a number.
It means nothing to you?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's enough. I don't have confidence.
The two of you are really stuck in a cycle. The real cost here is that the two of you just are not having fun with money.
Is this like how she really thinks of me? Like, I thought 140 was a respectable income. I know it's not anywhere near what she makes.
When he said 140, I'm like, the math ain't mathin'. He flashed his phone in my face and was like, bam, you're wrong.
I feel drained.
You don't trust the financial advisor you spoke to. You don't trust your husband. You don't trust yourself. What the is going on right now? You know why I occasionally feature couples who make a lot of money and still worry if they'll have enough? Because you'll probably do the exact same thing when you have a lot more money, unless you start to master your money psychology right now. Like, imagine this. What if you made over $450,000 a year and you still felt like it wasn't enough? It sounds ridiculous to even hear that. But if you keep saving and investing, just like you're doing right now, one day you will have more money than you ever thought you would. Here's my question. Will you magically change the way you feel about money then? Today, I'm talking with Chris and Heather, 41 years old, 39 years old. They're a Bay Area couple who on paper are doing great, but they don't feel that way. Chris and Heather are haunted by one question. Is it enough? I am bringing them on this podcast as a crystal ball to show you what you might face as you become more financially successful. Think about it. Consider when you...
Like, what is your household income or whatever? So she asked me how much it was. And I was like, okay, well, if I make 140, and then when I got to that part, she cut me off and she just said, I just need to know how much you make. So I'm like, okay, well, if we're talking about gross, then it's 140. And then she said, well, what's on your W-2? Like, she didn't believe me. She was Googling like, oh, how do you find out how much you made? What's your gross versus your net worth? Is your total gross on your W-2? It became like this Googling contest about like what my actual income was.
And how did it end?
I guess she accepted my answer at some point. And then after that, she just told me that I should fill out the application too.
Did it feel good to be right?
I think that whatever feeling I had about being right was overshadowed by my feelings of her questioning how much I make.
What did that feel like?
I felt like, is this like how she really thinks of me? Like, I mean, I thought 140 was a respectable income. I know it's not anywhere near what she makes, but I was pretty proud of where I was at. So just to have this petty argument about it, especially after we just filed our taxes and all our numbers are laid out right there, I thought it was a lot of time and effort and stress over just the small.
We have enough money, but still feel like we live paycheck to paycheck because we don't have a budget. Now, the two of you make over $400,000 per year. Yet, that's a big smile on Chris's face. It looks like a bit of an embarrassed smile. Heather is just mouth is completely shut.
Well, when you say it like that, it sounds like a big number.
The way you describe money is as if it is never enough. Would you say that's a fair way of how you feel?
I would say because we're not organized in how we manage it, then it feels like, nope, it's here. Might as well spend it.
Okay. Chris?
You can only focus on one or two things at a time. Like, you can't focus on retirement and saving while also like spending all your money and whooping it up and having a good time. Since we don't really have a coordinated plan, it just kind of feels like we're not making any progress.
Do you think that you're missing a plan? Is that the problem?
I think
paycheck to paycheck, Heather. What does that mean to you?
That just means that I pay the credit card bill. And so the paycheck comes in and a huge chunk, if not all of it, goes to paying off our credit card. No?
Holy. Dear America, do you see why you should never use this phrase? Paycheck. I'm sorry. I know I'm here to help you, but I need to help myself right now. Otherwise, I'm going to explode. This goddamn stupid phrase that everybody uses. Oh, 75% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. First of all, what the does it mean? We have a couple here who's making $400,000 plus per year, and they're saying we're living paycheck to pay. I haven't even looked at the amounts, but I guarantee you are saving and investing a lot of money. And you are saying it feels like we are living paycheck to paycheck. You are not. And this is why we should stop using this phrase. Paycheck to paycheck is a made-up term. It doesn't actually mean anything. You have a couple making almost $500,000. Then you have a couple making $45,000. You think they're in the same universe? No. All right. We need to stop doing that. And we also need to recognize that the way we feel about money is not correlated with the amount in our bank account. Would you agree, Heather, that perhaps the way you feel about money at $400,000 per year might not be accurate?
It's possible, but we live in a high cost of living area.
Okay, I'm going to just skip right to the numbers. Forget the preamble. Here we go. You guys want to hear about annoying rich people? Because I know a lot of them. Let me tell you about some of the stuff rich people would never admit publicly because they would get roasted for it. Now, I've spent over 20 years coaching millionaires, founders, couples on my Netflix show, How to Get Rich. And what I've seen behind closed doors will surprise you. Lots of people are doing things so smart, so counterintuitive, that it will completely change the way you think about money. Some people are doing things that still shock me, stuff that is not talked about publicly, but I can talk about them because I'm not gonna tell you their names. So today I'm pulling back the curtain on 8 secrets I learned coaching rich people, the stuff they actually do, not the polished stories that they tell you. And number 5, you really won't believe it. Secret number 1, they are okay wasting a little money. Rich people waste money all the time, and they're okay with it. Let me tell you why. Once in a while, for example, they can't take an Amazon box to the UPS store, and they'll go, okay, fine, I'm just gonna donate this thing. The more they are earning, the more likely they are going to let unwanted subscriptions renew for months. That's because they are not carefully looking at every single expense, and the key is they actually accept it. They know that sure, they might be overpaying for a $10 subscription, maybe even a $100 a month subscription. But in the grand scheme of things, they are typically focused on other areas. Now, let me tell you what surprised me about this. It's not that they are lazy or careless. They know what they are doing. They are strategic. One client told me, if it costs less than $500 to solve, I don't think twice. $500 is nothing to them because they are often focusing on moves that are tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars. Naturally, if you were in that same situation, you would probably do the same thing. If you're watching this right now saying, no, I wouldn't, that's insane. I'm always gonna track the price of tomatoes. You might not be the kind of person who has the ability to make moves that make millions of dollars. That's just being candid. The wealthy people I'm talking to are not obsessed with optimizing every last dollar because they know that their time is extremely valuable. And that is the mindset shift. They have realized you cannot track the same things when you are making a very high income that you did when you were starting out. You actually have to focus on secret number 2, they buy back their time, not just things. Contrary to popular belief or what Instagram tells us, rich people are not always spending money on beautiful cars and clothes. I don't mind it. I love nice clothes, but it's important to know that the people that I work with who are wealthy typically focus more on buying back their time than others. They'll pay for convenience. That could be a personal chef. That could be somebody to help come up with ideas for date night with their spouse. It also could help in accompanying things like the cost of a babysitter. And it often does not have to be that expensive. At smaller levels, it's the same idea, an extra iPhone charger or grocery delivery. The question that these rich people are often asking is, what can I pay for so I do not have to think about this again? Touch once, never touch it again. That is the idea. Because if you are constantly facing a problem in your life, rich people want it solved and they never want to think about it again. That's because they have more money than time. So here's how you can apply this same thinking. Think about a way that you could spend $20, $50, $100 to buy back a little bit of time. You don't have to do this for your entire life, but just try. Secret number 3, they ignore big fees and it costs them millions. I don't like this idea that in American culture, rich people are glamorized and lauded as being so smart. Just because this guy has billions of dollars, we should listen to his stupid right-wing opinions on politics. Shut the fuck up, rich guy. You would think that rich people are financial geniuses, but often they are just good at making money. Managing it, they are not that good. For example, a lot of wealthy people pay an AUM fee to a financial advisor. This is something like 1% on their investments. They often will sign up for these larded up private equity investments that are illiquid for a decade, and they don't even beat the S&P 500. Also, wealthy people, when they buy and sell cars, which can happen frequently, there are massive transaction costs. They don't even know them, nor do they really care. I think you can do better than this. You can actually beat the returns of lots of wealthy people by paying attention to how much your fees will cost you over time. For example, never pay a percentage of your portfolio to an advisor. If you decide, secret number 5, they're actually not great investors. A lot of wealthy people think that because they've made money through their business or through their career, that they happen to be super sophisticated investors. Honestly, rich people invest in all kinds of dumb dog shit investments. They chase exclusive deals, private equity, angel investing that often massively underperform the S&P 500. And the classic example is dentists and doctors. Horrible at investing, often seen as prey by Wall Street. As high income earners, they are frequently targeted by financial advisors working for Primerica and scammers, high commission products, whole life insurance. They're basically just sitting there as marks for everyone on Wall Street. Again, just because people made money does not mean they know how to manage it or grow it. It just means they have a lot of money. That does not make you a skilled investor. Meanwhile, the boring investors, the bogleheads, the ones investing in index funds, automation with a long-term focus, they quietly crush them. Here's how you can do it. Automate your contributions to an index fund or target date fund. Leave it alone. Consistency beats cleverness. In fact, a lot of you would do better to stop listening to all these freaking investing podcasts. Take the account you have for your 401k, maybe your taxable account, lose the password and move on. Then let the system build your wealth while you sleep. Secret number 7, they don't always talk about money. I've seen millionaires that can't discuss spending with their spouse without it turning into a fight. What I have learned is that there's little correlation between how much money someone has and how frequently they talk about it. Many people think that when they make more money, their own habits are going to magically change. I'm going to magically feel better about money when I have $50,000 or $500,000 more. Never happens. I'm going to magically become better at communicating with my spouse when we have $100,000 more dollars. It's never going to happen. Money does not become magically easier just because you have more of it. If anything, the stakes get higher and the conversations become more fraught. So here's what you should do. Schedule a 10-minute money talk this week with your partner, a friend, your parents, even just to ask them, how did you think about money when we were younger? The earlier you start talking about money and the more you shine a light on this topic, the idea of being frugal. Secret number 8, they splurge unapologetically on what they love. There's this common myth that people who have a lot of money buy the best of everything. And I have not found that to be true, not even with myself. I remember being out with a friend and we were talking about how we spend our money. And I said that my wife and I, we don't particularly buy the absolute most expensive meat there is. We are much more focused on the quantity we eat rather than spending an extra $20 a pound on chicken. He was shocked. And his phrase was, why would you not get the best? It couldn't hurt. In my experience, people who have a lot of money are pretty focused on spending in key categories. It might be travel, it might be childcare, it's probably housing, and on. But there are other things they just simply do not care about. Here's what I want you to do. Pick your one money dial, the thing that you love to spend money on, and turn that dial up this month. It could be food, travel, health and wellness, whatever lights you up. Spend extravagantly. Just try it once. Make sure you can. $35,000. Your take-home pay is about $2,500 per month. At the time, I was living in a room in a shared house with 4 other guys, and even though my expenses were low, with no dependents, I had to monitor my money pretty carefully. Debt repayments and essentials like rent, food, bills, and transportation can easily eat up all of your income. And that means any unexpected expense, like a car repair or a medical bill, can derail your entire financial life. And that can often force you to take out short-term loans with horrific interest rates just to paper over the damage. This is why you need to take drastic action. If you are in this situation, the first and the most important step is to save at least 5 to 10% of your take-home pay, and then to use that to gradually build an emergency fund of roughly 1 to 2 months worth of essential expenses. For example, saving $100, even $50 a month until you hit $2,500. Now, it might seem impossible to save that, but you would be surprised that if you have that money automatically set aside, you often can learn to live on a little bit less. So the next time you run into an unexpected emergency, it's not unexpected, and you can pay in cash instead of having to take drastic action. Let's speed run how to save that 5 to 10% per month. First, make spending cuts. Review your last 1 to 2 months of spending, identify areas where you can make small cuts. We're talking about unused subscriptions, canceling those, negotiating bills like internet or phone, downsizing discretionary spending. Listen, I'm not the guy who goes around telling people to cancel Netflix and stop spending money on lattes. This is a temporary measure to get you to a safer financial spot. Call your creditors and providers, negotiate lower interest rates or hardship payment plans. A lot of companies actually will work with you if you reach out proactively. Optimize your current job. This is a big one. Ask for overtime, extra shifts, or responsibilities that lead to a raise. Consider a new job. People at every income bracket can get into serious debt, but it is especially easy at 35K, where it's often hard to pay for basic necessities. A $500 debt can snowball into thousands of dollars when you don't have a bunch of disposable income to pay it down. So attacking high interest debt should be a top priority along with building an emergency fund. Here's how to do it. First, get organized. List out all your debts, credit card, personal loans, car loans. Write down the interest rate and balances for each one. Please know that 90% of people do not do this. They just pay what's in front of them, which is often one of the main reasons they are stuck. Next, the 35K income level is increasing your earning power. Let's get real. You can only cut expenses so much. You can cut back on delivery, you can cut back on subscriptions, and those will help you build your emergency fund. But if you want to radically change the way that you interact with money, you probably need to increase your. If you're making $35,000 a year, the biggest thing you can do to change your financial reality is to make more money. So this is how people making 100 or 200K can be drowning in debt. I talk to them all the time on my podcast. They buy a truck, they don't know how to calculate if they can afford it. When I ask them why, they go, oh, so I can tow my trailer. What? What is your rich life? Is it to spend all your money on debt? There's also others. There's highly paid professionals with millions of dollars in their account. The business coach making 300K, but complaining that she's living paycheck to paycheck.